NFTs have already revolutionized how people collect art, sports memorabilia, and even invest in real estate. But experts say this could just be the tip of the iceberg. With more on what could come and wrapping up our series, the way we started it, cryptocurrency expert and co founder and president of Anchorage, Diogo Monica, is back to tell us about the future of NFTs. Diogo, thank you so much for coming back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, brass tacks, NFTs, are they a phase or are they here to stay?
They're definitely here to stay. I think what we've seen is just the porting to the digital world of something that we already knew humans wanted in real life, which is this unique sense of identity. NFTs just port that from the world of art, from the world of music, into a digital scarce item. And so they are definitely here to stay. The technology might change, the naming might change. We might come up with something better than NFT as an acronym, but they're definitely here to stay as a concept.
Okay, so as a person who I'm not creative enough to figure out what the future holds. So besides collectibles, what else could NFTs be used for?
I think the primary next steps are going to be outside of art. That means are going to be virtual worlds. So think about digital rights of land in a virtual world. Anything that requires or could benefit from digital scarcity is something for which an NFT is a perfect use for. So think of, say, wine, collectible wine. Wine is something that actually has a physical presence, and you can actually represent as a digital asset, as an NFT, and track it that way. Or even in more of the virtual world, in gaming, there's a lot of online games for which you can have weapons that are unique or certain items that identify you in game, say certain skins, certain types of clothing, and all of that will be represented as an NFT. So you can actually take it from game to game and maybe even trade it later.
When you referenced wine in the real physical world and as an NFT, is that an example of people experimenting tying physical assets to NFTs?
That's exactly right. And I do think that that is going to come. NFTs are obviously very useful for representing digital assets and ownership, unique ownership of digital assets. But we are going to see this cross-border physical world, digital world connection. And in particular, wine is one example of it. But you could have many other things. I mean, in the case of art, it makes sense for you to represent digital ownership of a particular painting. Say the Mona Lisa. It's stored in a safe location, for example, a museum, but you could actually sell it, the rights of ownership online, and you could represent it with digital asset. And you could do so for any painting. And at one time, you could actually know who is the owner for all of these paintings and these actual real world assets. So that is also going to continue. We could also go to the extreme version, which is NFTs really are an adaptation of proof of ownership and of a specific digital item or of a specific representation of a physical asset. So you could go all the way to have IDs, say a driver's license that is represented as an NFT that you can actually prove ownership of.
We're talking about the potential of NFTs, and it seems that they're myriad. But talk to me about the current limitations of this technology.
I think right now we're definitely in a very initial honeymoon phase. The technology is still very early. There's a lot of these NFTs that are built on blockchains that are very slow. And actually, whenever there's big uptick in demand, they slow down to a crawl and it becomes very hard to actually operate within NFTs. We've also seen quite a few technology glitches at the launches of these collectibles. And this is because the demand has been absolutely through the roof. And so there's a lot of hiccups that the technology is facing initially, but nothing that we can't solve over the long run. So this is really here to stay, and these technologies are only going to get better.
Diogo Monica, this is a world that is changing so very quickly. So I'm sure that before long, we'll have you back to talk about the next iteration of NFTs. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.